Good morning, you guys. So I'm a little under the weather, but I figured some fresh air and some vitamin D will cure me of that. Anyways, so I'm just out here in the garden and everything is just looking so amazing. It's beginning of December, so I figured now is a good time as any is kind of go around and show you guys what's happening in December in the San Diego garden. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we are going to be starting in my favorite place. This I put in May of this year. I'm going to go ahead and try to find pictures and show you what this place looked like to begin with. Basically it was dirt and I brought in a bunch of soil and did some mounds. And so we're now in December and things are looking a lot better. So we have, if you can see, there's all these little weeds growing in here. And I'm actually leaving this because this is a stinging nettle and I actually like to dry it and use it for tea. So I'm kind of holding off because my dehydrator broke and I'm getting a new one. So anyway, so that's why all the weeds are still in there. Normally I would have pulled them out by now, but anyway. And so this is just looking really good. I was so bummed. I had a really nice woolly bush, which is kind of like a Christmas tree looking bush from Australia that just up and died on me about 2 weeks ago. No idea why. So I stuck in a little copper spoons that I had just to kind of hold a spot and let him be a little bit happier and grow a little bit quicker. This is looking really nice, and this can get a nice deep purple when it gets a little stressed, but he's looking really good and he has just spread out like crazy. Just looking really good. This little guy is getting ready to throw off some little babies, I think. He's new, so also he, I'll link his name below. I finally figured out what he was. But he also prefers more shade. So come summertime, probably spring of next year, I'll be taking him out and putting him in a shadier location because he did not like being back here over the summer. He got burnt and was not his best. So he'll be moving him. That's kind of what I've been doing, is just kind of finding out what works and what doesn't. I will say, for example, all of these mother-in-law tongues, you know, they've handled the sun surprisingly well. I mean, they're probably not as good as they would be if they were in deep shade, but they've been in full sun and over 100-degree temperature all summer long, and they worked out just fine. So I'm actually quite pleased with that, how that turned out. This is my favorite section right here. These, look at these Fred Ives. They are huge and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So this whole area is perfection in my opinion. I just like everything like knitted together. These little sunburst Aeoniums with the Fred Ives, going back to like the golem in the little back with the tree. So cute. And then you have these little guys with the little trunk. It's kind of cute. Looks like a little tree in the back. So I'm really liking those. This whole section is just utterly adorable. Let's see here. Hey, no. She goes digs a hole just so she can go lay in it. Come on now, cat. Ay. Anyways, also really cute here. This is one of my favorite ice plants. I always keep trying to use it for cuttings. Honestly, it doesn't make the best little cuttings. Like, you can cut it and stick it in the ground somewhere, but he doesn't do as well, I found, in like little cutting arrangements. He just doesn't hold up. But I keep trying because I keep hoping something will change. It never does. So little aloe vera is doing really well. Nice and plump and happy. I have another one over here. Another one over there. There's a big, huge one over there in that wheelbarrow. We'll be going over there next, but first over here, it's looking okay. I kind of am a little bit, I like how this Echeveria handled really well in the hot summer this year, but he didn't throw off any pups at all. And normally around October is when I had a bunch of pups from him. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. And then I threw in this little Aeonium, not Aeonium, sorry, hold on one second. This is a Aloe Cameronii, nice and red because he's really stressed out. I don't know if you remember from my last video or so. He's just been hanging out on my patio without any dirt around him, just bare root. So that's why he's nice and red, which I prefer. These Aeoniums are all waking up so green and happy. I think I like them right here the best. I prefer Aeoniums more when they're a little bit more closed up. Once they kind of go to their full glory, I'm not usually as impressed with them. I feel they kind of get a little messy, but they look pretty cute right now. This I planted up sometime in the late summer, I think, but it's done really well. I had a couple little casualties just because we had a little bit of a rain and one echeveria rotted in here somewhere. I don't even know where he went. So I just kind of cut him off and hope for the best. But other than that, doing really well. These I recently started cutting off to propagate for my sister because they were just growing everywhere, and they're blooming now, which if anyone has these, they kind of smell like cinnamon. It's actually really, it smells really good. So those are interesting because like these sides, look how green and happy this side is. Over here, they get more sun, not as happy, but looking really good still nonetheless. So we have all those echeverias looking really well. I love this aloe, it's such a pretty aloe. And then back here I have leaves. I just throw my leaves down here, and usually they start making extra plants after a while. I kind of feel like if you have one that you're just like propagating, I always tend to like kind of fuss with it and then I kill it. So if I just leave it here and forget it, I'm more likely to get things. Okay, this is turning out pretty well. This is officially dead and needs to be taken out, so I'm going to be needing to do that. But other than that, everything out here turned out really well. Look how huge this dahlia has gotten, just absolutely enormous. See all that nice little farina in there? I mean, it's just like caked on farina. So that's the white covering that protects the plants. So you can definitely see here's a new growth, old growth. It's just really pretty. And then let's see here, over here, this whole, I think this is the cubic frost. He had completely got decimated by mealybugs. I plucked off all of his leaves basically, and he bounced back and gave me 2 new babies. So that was really exciting. This little echeveria, looks like he got a little overwatered or something. He's not too happy. We finally got rain here in, look at that. He's very shallow root system. We only got rain here like a month or so ago, and some things didn't like it as much as others. However, this loved it. So I don't know if you remember, but when I planted this up, I literally had like, these look like these banana leaves, these banana Senecio looked like they were gonna die. But I put them in and they bounced back wonderfully and came back to life. So very much a fan of those. Yes, they're very cute. She's gotten so fluffy. She's like a little lion. I mean, like, look at her mane. She's just a very, very fluffy cat. Ah. Let's see here. Over here, this is my herb garden area. So I have a bunch of different herbs so it's a nice, easy place to get to. And I just kind of throw some pots in here and there just to kind of give it a little something, something. It's like this one, he's one of my favorite plants. I call him my shark plant because he looks like he has little shark tails, but he's technically a Charodopsis candidissimus and really cute. He's going to be starting to bloom fairly soon. He's a winter grower, so during the summer they're dormant and they're going to be coming out of it fairly soon, so that'll be exciting. Speaking of blooms, this kind of is what so over here is my hodgepodge of things I need to do things with. But over here, my lithops are blooming. It's so cute. And then also what's exciting is there's this other plant down here that's just hanging out in his little nursery pot. Also blooming. He bloomed, so he'll be coming out when the sun comes up. So he'll look really nice. Lucy's eating some weeds. I do feed her. What are you doing? You're very fluffy. If only I could teach her how to pull weeds. That would be very helpful. But alas, she just tends to pull the things that I don't want her to pull. Okay, well, let's go to the patio where everything is looking really nice. So I've been doing some working, so I'm working on a little potting arrangement at the moment. But here's everything looking really nice. So here's my cute little lipstick plant. It's got a bloom. I normally had this inside, but then it got little gnats, so I brought it outside to think about its life, and it kind of reddened up a little bit with the sun, but I think it's kind of pretty. Kind of matches the burgundy lava rock I have in there. Anyway, this is really pretty. I need to plant this in something calanchoe. Very cute. Oh, this, I just got this recently. It's so pretty. It is, I forget the name of it. Oh, it's with Mammillaria, a golden star. So Mammillaria golden star, but how cute is that? It's not petable for sure. It's very, very pokey, but that's okay. Very pretty. Let's see here. These are kind of the same. I did this little planting a while back. If anybody knows this Aeonium, please let me know, because I have no idea. But it's very pretty, and it kind of reminds me of a kiwi Aeonium, but it's not quite. But it's definitely kind of got that tree-like structure. So you'll find out. I just planted this up lately. This is the little roadkill cactus, literally the flattest cactus I've ever seen, and really not pokey at all. Like these little, there's nothing there. It's very, very safe. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting these off, and then I can start propagating new ones. But for right now, really pretty with a little aloe and a little woolly Mammillaria. I do like the woolly plants. This is looking really pretty. He's getting a little overgrown, actually. I mean, this thing just really, once he got a little water in him, perked up like crazy. And then we have different echeverias. This one is a cedaveria, I think it is. It's here. So I like to keep all of my names in the pots, because otherwise I make up my own labels, and otherwise who remembers what everything is. So yeah, this is a tachocetum is this little guy. So this is a little tachocetum right here. Then Echeveria Dark Moon is this guy right here. Sedaveria Dark, we have a Sedaveria Dark Elf. I kind of think it's this one right here. And then we have, this is an Aeonopsis right here, Aeonopsis rubulentia. So this I had done a while back. Also looking really nice. There's another one of those Aeonopsis. This is an unknown Huernia of some kind. Some golems, little watch chain. This is a type of mimicry plant. I forget what it's called though. Let's see here. So this is Senecio silver coral. This one is, oh, that's what it's called. So this one right here is Anacampsaris rufensis. But has done really well, really perked up. I rarely ever water this. Actually, I rarely water any of my succulents, so what am I saying? A little Hoya Crinkle 8. I've been moving around to different locations. He doesn't like to be in too much sun because he does get a little burnt, but he's been doing much better since I got this shade structure, so I've been liking him up there. Over here, everything's just looking really nice. Little Aeonium dinner plate, woken up, looking really plate-like. All these little lithops, none of these are blooming yet. I didn't get any blooms. I have yet to ever get any of these to bloom. Kind of bummed because they're really gorgeous. I'm hoping this will be blooming soon. I'm thinking, because it just leafed out within the last month or so. This little planting I'm really excited about. So we did have a bunch of these echeverias, I think they are, all over. I had 1, 2, 3, and then I had 4. And these two right here just got mealybugs horribly. So basically what I did was pull back all of the leaves. We have now new growth. These leaves are probably gonna fall off fairly soon. What I've been doing is when they fall off, I just kind of poke them back in. This one was looking horrible, so I was gonna just toss it, but look, baby. So just leave things alone. They'll take care of themselves. I have another little baby coming there. I had cut off this whole thing just because it was down to, it looked absolutely horrible. And look at this little baby growing there. So it's very exciting. It's kind of interesting how you can see new growth, old growth. Let's see here. Those are just an old planter. Interestingly enough, so this is Crassula campfire. And I'll show you Crassula campfire and why it's called Crassula campfire in a second, because it's pretty intense. Little Medusa. This is really perked up. I accidentally left it out in the rain, and I was kind of worried because this pot has no drainage, but these Haworthias have just perked up like crazy. It was just what the doctor ordered. So good timing. Nothing beats dumb luck. Oh, this is one of my favorite pots. This is one of my favorite planters. I really like these. Really pretty. Unfortunately, I don't really know what anything in here is called because I didn't have, this is some type of watch chain, but these came with no names. But they're still cute. These tiger jaws aren't blooming yet. My other ones are, so that's interesting. This is kind of my unexciting stuff, to be honest. Nothing down here is all that fun. These little baby toes are doing really well with different cactus in there. This mangave is almost needing to be repotted. I just put him in there because he was from a smaller pot, but he's looking kind of overgrown. This is turning out really well. Some of these are all pretty much cuttings. Some are looking better than others, obviously, but you know, they just take some time. Nothing's gonna bounce back right away, so you just gotta be patient. But still looking very well, holding up really well. I just used palm husk from my palm tree to line the basket and filled it full of soil and some top dressing. The sack of Wheaties is just insanely huge. Like, I thought he was gonna stay tiny, and he just keeps growing bigger and bigger. Let's see here. Oh, another little grouping. This is interestingly kind of he needs a good pruning, I'd say. Well, little maintenance there needed. Probably some water would be helpful too. I'm definitely an underwaterer. This is why me and succulents get along so well. Every time I buy something that's not a succulent, it never lasts quite as well. But I will say pulling off leaves, very fun. Let's see here. Here's my little different Haworthias of, oh look, these are gonna get ready to bloom. Well, that's exciting. And then everything else in here, lots of little babies happening. And these were actually propagations that I took off from a big plant, so doing quite well actually. Some little Melancholy tomentoses. I think this one's probably Chocolate Soldier or something. I don't know, there's so many different versions of it. It's a little shady. Doesn't look its best right now. Oh yes, so here we go. Maybe it'll come out later when the sun is out, but you can still see. Look how bright red. And I would say even like a month ago, it was even more bright red. So I think if you can tell, this in here is starting to get a little bit more yellow. So I'm assuming as the temperatures get cooler and it gets a little bit more rain, it will not be so red, but I prefer the red. And then this is that purple. I also have this in the backyard that I showed you guys a little bit ago, but this is just hanging really nicely. It does a really nice trailing plant. Have some little kitten paws, so cute. Sunburst Aeonium's my favorite. I actually prefer them during the summer because they have more of a nice rosette. I feel like when the winter comes and the Aeoniums wake up, it kind of makes them look a little messy. I prefer them during the summer, I think, at all times. But now I get more babies. Look at that. This one's gotten a lot of babies on it, so that's really exciting. And I can start propagating from those. This over here, oh, my shadow. Might need to come out here during a different time of the day. But this is one of my favorite echeverias. If you can see that with all the little warts on it, so cute. And then we also have these kitten pods, but these are variegated. They're little, and you know, they really look good in the sun. I know a lot of people like to put them in the shade, but they can handle the sun. This gets full sun all summer long, and it just loves it. So don't be afraid to move around your plants. Put things in different areas. That I need to work on. Looks horrible. And there's my original sunburst Aeoniums, which never made babies. And still looks amazing. This pot is probably a good 2018, I think I did this in ish. It's hard to keep track of time, but yeah, so going strong, and we're in 2021, but never made any babies ever. Just nice little, yep, see, no babies, unfortunately. Also, I have these Aeoniums, which are starting to wake up. Unfortunately, I don't actually like these when they wake up. I just look at this one starting to bloom. So I need to cut that off because that's done for. But that's kind of pretty. So I'll just let it go. Let the little bees enjoy it. I've cleaned all this area out, and I'm going to be planting over there soon, but this has really filled in really nicely, actually a little bit too nicely in some areas. Look how these echeverias are just all, so here's your old growth and here's your new growth. Might need to come in and pull all some of this stuff out because it's kind of getting a little tight in there, but I always love, oh, look at, it's getting really big. These little ghosties, I think I'm going to be moving. I just don't like how they get all leggy. They look good in like a nice big pot and just a mass of them, but I'm not super happy with them being in this area. And there's Lucy following me about, sitting on the plants. This little guy over here, I forgot his name, but he definitely needs to be in a more shady location. He'll be fine for the winter now, but when it comes summer, I'll definitely be moving that. He just gets too burnt up in the front here.